Go.
Hi, everyone. Marybeth Brush here with eXp Realty. Thank you again for joining us. And Nicole, you're always so great to talk to. And thank you so much for joining me and giving us your insight on our mortgage and market update. So just to start off with the real estate. I mean, wow, what a summer it has been so far. So I don't know if you've been busy, but I've been busy. I think we've all have been busy between mortgages, refinances, buyers and sellers getting out there. So July, usually, I'm sure you can attest this, Nicole, usually the summer this time of year is usually super slow. July for me was a record-breaking month for my business. I saw so many buyers getting out there. I saw so many sellers wanting to put their homes on the market. So, you know, with kids starting to get back to school, July 4th holiday, July normally is very slow. But the breaking news of this week is that now the stats have come out that the average price of a single family home in Denver has now jumped above $600,000, which again, that number is so big. It's great for sellers, probably a little bit tough for buyers, but you know, it is about a little bit less than 8% higher than June of last year and 10% higher than July of 2019. That is a huge jump to jump up 10% in a year. What do you think about that?
I think you're right. I mean, we've seen some incredible price increases. I will say that the average price is somewhat skewed because of we've had more homes over $1 million sold. There are people that are jumping in that aren't finding their home in the price points where they were looking, and now they've pushed up over $1 million. We had, 9 months of inventory just a couple months ago in over $1 million, and now we have only 2 months of inventory. So as those homes sell, that average price goes up. The median is also going up. But the interesting thing about that is as interest rates go down, the price, just the monthly budget for that mortgage payment is actually lower. It's on average that median price point. So not the average is a little higher than the median's the middle. That median price point home, I tracked it over the last 3 years. We're actually $43 cheaper a month today than we were a year ago and cheaper than we were 2 and 3 years ago. So it's actually more affordable, even though we're seeing this average price go up substantially.
Absolutely. And that's what's giving these buyers the buying power. And like you said, that's giving buyers more accessibility to maybe reach that $1 million home market, maybe the ability to buy their dream home that they've always wanted. So what an interesting time. Because like I said, usually at this time of year, I mean, it's somewhat crickets because we've just celebrated 4th of July last month. Kids are starting to go back to school, but that's another thing because of COVID. What is school looking like this year? Some are going, some are not, some are online, some are just Zoom meetings all day. So it's definitely going to be an interesting year. So as buyers thinking about maybe jumping into the buying pool right now, maybe thinking, okay, maybe this fall, now maybe their job's a little bit more steady. Is there anything you could advise to buyers who start to close out this summer and head into fall?
Right now, I get it. Like there's a lot to take in with everything that's going on around us, and the decision of trying to determine is now the right time to buy. And especially when we have low inventory. Now, even recently in the last week, we've seen a small uptick in inventory, but it's certainly not enough to absorb all of the demand that we've had. And we're going to have some buyer exhaustion at this point for all the multiple bids and having to jump at the a moment's notice because that home's going to be under contract in 3 or 4 hours. So there is some of that. But as a buyer, I would say going into the fall, we have some unknowns. We have the unknown of the election, the election's impact on the stock market, the stock market's impact on our wealth effect or our ability to feel like we can afford to even buy a home if we see volatility in the stock market. We also, those things will matriculate into interest rates. Will they start to go up or down based on the inflation numbers? They just came out, they were a little higher, which increased our 10-year treasury, which increased our interest rates. I mean, it's all so tied when you start looking and you pull back the curtains and see how all these economics are feeding into our interest rates and the ability of a buyer to feel confident and the ability for a seller to feel confident to sell, because then they typically have to go and buy. So as a buyer, we're looking at some point, we're going to see interest rates turn. They're going to start to go up. When will that be is determining on where the market is going. Right now, we're seeing a slight uptick because the inflation just came out, and that hurts our interest rates. But hopefully we won't see them go too much higher. We expect that to happen in the spring. But if we see a second phase of COVID, or if we have to pull back into our homes, or if companies start to lay off more, as they're restructuring so they don't go into bankruptcy. All of these things are unknown. And so I'm telling my buyers that now's the time to get off the fence. We know what the purchase price is today. We know what the interest rates are today, and we know the economics that are working around us. So it's just a fabulous time. It's more affordable than it's been over the last 3 years. And it's certainly a great time to get an incredibly low historic interest rate.
Absolutely. And I'm definitely seeing, you were talking about that buyer exhaustion out there, especially, I think the sweet spot is anything between really 400,000 to 500,000. If you have a larger home, something that gives multiple rooms, multiple spaces, multiple places for kids, offices, now school rooms. I mean, a lot of parents are thinking we need an extra room to teach our kids, what to do. And also having that dedicated school area space. So when the kid walks in, they're like, okay, heads down, noses in the book, let's do this, let's get some work done. So definitely those are the homes that I'm seeing that are getting those multiple offers, the ones with, still maybe a more affordable price point between 400,000 to 500,000, but gives the landscape and the room size and the square footage that those families need. And, those couples need to make sure they can get their office work done, their school work done. And as we head into this fall, what a busy time. So anything else that we should touch on, anything else that you want to bring up or maybe our viewers should know about?
Oh my goodness. Well, I would tell you that if you're, especially as a buyer, and maybe you were in the buyer pool a year ago and you re-signed a lease, and now you're coming up on that date and you're thinking, maybe I'll just rent again for a year because of what's going on in the economy. I would tell you that you should talk to a lender. I would love it to be me, but you should definitely talk to a lender because you'll be surprised at what your affordability is today versus a year ago. You'll be surprised at maybe what you can get into, and it might be the perfect home. And start building your own wealth. Stop giving your money to your landlord and filling their coffers. Fill your own. Figure out how to get into the housing market and start building that wealth. I know you just purchased your new home and you're renting out your other one. I'm so excited for you.
I did. Thank you so much. Yes, it's a different background today because this is the new home I just moved into. So there are boxes over on this side and boxes over on that side. So I could give myself some space to do this call with you. But yes, I'm starting on this journey of myself becoming, a real estate investor. And so this is now my second home, and I'm going to house hack this home as well. And I already have 2 roommates that have signed leases because it is a 5-bedroom house. There's 1 bedroom in the basement and 4 upstairs. So I'm dedicating 1 room to my office, 2 rooms for the 2 roommates, and 1 room for myself because I think I need to sleep somewhere, right?
You do, and I think it's awesome.
Thank you so much, Nicole. So let's catch up again soon. And of course, if anybody has any questions for their mortgages or maybe refinancing needs, please call Nicole. Her number will be at the bottom in the information. And if anyone wants to go look at homes or wants to sell their home, my information will be at the bottom as well. Thank you, Nicole, so much. I hope you have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.